people? We got Marge here. How you doing today? How you doing? Day 2? Hey, I tell you, we're getting our paper wet today. All right? How you doing today? Are you out there? You got that locus of control? Is it going good? Or is your fire stoked? You got that critical eye locked in the hole? You got your schedule aligned. Come on, people, let's go. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Well, how have you been doing? You've been tearing your paper? You've been getting good and frustrated? I hope so, because when you're frustrated, that means you're ready to go forward. You know what I'm saying? And it's good to go forward, okay? So today, we're going to try and do a little Discord later. All right, I'm going to try and go live on Discord. Hey, don't worry if you can't get there, because I'm going to record it and post it too. But I'm going to do more of a demonstration. I'm going to do a little one right now and here in a minute, all right, with 2 cameras. But I'm going to do a little demonstration and take questions and whatever a little bit longer on the Discord separate. You know, so some people, maybe they ain't want to watch it. Maybe they just want to dive into their watercolor and get going. And maybe some people just watch me because I'm entertaining. I don't know. Can you believe that? I can't. Well, maybe a little bit. Hope so. All right. So we're going to do that a little bit later. Now, I will get a regular schedule going with that. You know, I'm just trying to figure out all this equipment, people. It's a 30-day thing for me, too, plus the videos. Can you believe that? I mean, come on. Jesus. All right. So, don't forget we talked about standing on other people's shoulders yesterday. Now, today, I wanted to bring back up, I know I showed the book before, this book, Line and Wash, by Neil Whitehead. It's a fantastic book. As soon as I saw it, I knew I had to get it. I follow him on Instagram and X, and you know, I see him post every once in a while. I'm like, ooh, I like that. He does urban landscapes, okay? So he goes and he draws the city like so, and then he puts a fun little wash on it of watercolor, okay? Now let me show you a couple pages in here. They're really cool. Check that out. Isn't that nice? Looks good, don't it? Now those are some fun washes. Some nice, beautiful colors. And here is another one. Check that out. Ain't that something? Don't that just kind of get you excited all at once? Breathing heavy. Hopefully it gets you a little wet too. All right, and let me show you one final one. Check that out. How's that look? Now, isn't that cool? Now he travels all over and he paints and draws cities and he lays them out and then with pen and ink and then puts a nice watercolor wash over it. Simple. And he uses simple shapes and very artistically and makes it look beautiful. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to stand on his shoulders, okay? Now he also has some how-tos and all that good stuff in there, and I think he has a YouTube. I'll put it all down in the description if you want to go investigate further. But we're going to talk today about a design principle, 75%, 20%, and 5%. That's a proportion, okay? Now that's a very simple general proportion to use in everything, design-wise, okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, 75% is going to be your bland base, 25% is going to be moderate interest, and then 5% is going to be high interest. And use it in those proportions, okay? Say, for example, you're putting together a color scheme, okay? You want 75% to be grays. You want 25% or 20% to be a warm color. And then you want just 5% to be a real intense, cool color or some ornate accent, okay? So if you're making like a room, for example, you're going to paint the walls nice and beige, then you're going to put the furniture in there and it's going to have a nice medium level of a color or a texture, and then that one little piece of artwork that you have on the wall is going to be a really strong, impactful, vibrant red. And that's how you get a very beautiful proportion and control what you put into your artwork or what you put into your design or what you put into your food, okay? Like you have a general flavor on your steak, and then maybe you put 20% salt on it to salt it, and maybe you put a little bit of cayenne pepper, you know, and you put it in a little tiny bit of proportion, but it all harmonizes. So use that harmony, 75%, 20%, and 5% when we're about to do this exercise, okay? We're going to do a wet on wet wash exercise. Now check out. I already did some of them. Check it out right there. Okay, now what I did was I grabbed my nice little blocks right here. Here they are right here. And I just put them together and traced them. Or put them like that and traced them out on my page, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nice squares or canvases to work with. Now you want to do this because you want to have an experiment in one and then go to the next and have a whole new experiment. And then go to the next and have a whole new experiment. And go to the next and have a whole new experiment. Okay? You don't just want to do it all over your paper and let it all run together and then kind of lose track. And it's like you're trying to eat the whole page at once. You want little tiny bites, little tiny bites, little tiny bites. And maybe you want to do something different in the next experiment. Or maybe you want to try something, another color scheme in the next one. So on this one right here, I used 2 layers of wet on wet wash. Okay? On this one right here, I only use 1 layer of wet on wet wash. But I use black. Now black is significant because it makes all the colors darker, and it also takes some of that intense chroma or color out of the image. And so it kind of falls in that 25 or that 75% range. You know, like right here I have the dark grays are the 75, and then I have the blues are going to be the 20%, and then those little peaks of red in there are going to be the 5%. Okay, so that's kind of what I mean. And then right here is a 1 wet on wet layer with 1 dry layer on top. So that's another 2 layers with a little bit of splatter maybe. No splatter in that one. And then this one right here is just 1 layer with splatter. Now that whole proportion works for texture too. Okay, so you don't want to do texture all over your page, right? You want to do the nice soft texture over 75% of your page. Then you want to do maybe some other texture for 20% that's a little bit more intricate. And then the really crazy texture or harsh texture, you only want to do 5% because it's gonna catch your eye. If you do more than 5% of the intense things, it overwhelms you and it destroys your whole the interest in your whole picture. You see what I mean? Now down here, I just did a long one. Okay? And this is just 1 layer. All of this is just 1 layer. And I spritzed some of my water bottle on it just to keep the page wet. Okay? And then I did it like this and pulled the tape off. And then here I got nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 really nice images or textures or patterns on the page. Now, couldn't you see this being abstract art? Because I sure could. Who knew you could do that? All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little demonstration. Okay, just a really quick one right here. I'll throw it up on the main screen, and just to kind of show y'all what I mean. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get that going. All right, so we got it going. We're going to do this. Okay, so first thing you got to do, grab your tape. You got to grab that tape. Now I'm going to go ahead and tape around this square right here. Okay, so that's the one I'm working on. And you'll be able to see it in the other camera too. Yep, you can see it just fine. Now I take it and I put the tape on my shirt like that. Then I run it along the side like so. Like that. And I just do it all the way around. And I'm trying to do this as fast as I can, but you know what? I'll probably throw some music up there too so you can just groove to the beat. So I'll just pretend like the music's going on. I got the ravens out there. They're all looking at me, wondering where the food is, you know. I got about 15 of them out there walking around, looking at me. And I'm like, hey, I'm busy. And I'm going to try and figure out, I got a nice little other device that I got to work on for my the live, so I'm going to try and figure that out too. All right. So then I got my 3 brushes right here. Now, today I'm just going to use 2 of the brushes, the medium and the large, okay? So I go ahead and pre-wet those, get those nice and wet first. Over here, then I gotta wake up my watercolor, so I can take my spritzer and I just spray it like so, all over all my watercolor. Let it wake up for a minute, let it hang out for a second, okay? Now, I'm gonna take my big brush, okay? I got my panel ready to go. I'm gonna take my big brush, get a little bit of water in it. I got a napkin over here that I'm dabbing my watercolor brush on to try to control some of the water in my brush. Now, here's the thing. You got to control the water in your brush, you got to control the water on the paper, and you got to control the water on the watercolor paint and the watercolor mixer area, okay? They all have to be right, all right? Now, the most important thing is going to be the paper, okay? So the paper's dry right now, and I want it to be dry. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this paint right here, and I'm going to go ahead and get in some of my blue, all right? I don't know if you can see that on the camera. We're going to try. I'm going to pull it back over here like so. Now I'm just going to go ahead and make myself a little pool of this blue, okay? And I'm going to mix it in with the black. I got some black right there that I just woke up. I just woke that black up. You can see it. Now I'm just going to run this quickly over my page like that, okay? Move it really quickly. Some places are going to get wet and some places are going to stay dry. We're going to leave those dry places in as the white. Now when we're doing watercolor, we are working in reverse, which means we're working from light to dark, okay? So you want to preserve your lights first and then work towards adding the darkness more and more. Now I say backwards because in oil you work the other way. You work dark to light, but we won't worry about that. So right now I got some nice wash on my page. I got some areas where you can see that there's white still left in it. I got some pooling right here. Don't forget I got my watercolor pad sitting on an incline so that the bead of water runs down. That's important, okay? So you can see it right here. Now, the wet parts are still wet. They might be a little too wet. If they're a little too wet, take your brush, dab it, dry it off, and then run it over the place that's too wet and pick up the water, okay? So we're gonna pick up some of that water, no problem. We're gonna get rid of those pools of water. Then I'm gonna switch to my medium-sized brush. The reason we switch to the medium is so it doesn't have so much water in it. It has more pigment to water ratio. And I'm going to come over here, I'm going to grab some of this blue, and I'm going to mix it in with the black. Okay, I'm just going to go around the edges of the black. Now check that out. Isn't that fun? Just do that. Okay? Wet on wet. That's what we're doing right here. We're putting wet paint into a wet puddle. Okay? Now I'm going kind of fast, and when you go fast with the brush, where it doesn't soak in, it runs away and leaves the white part visible. You want to do that because it's going to create some of that nice high value, okay? Almost like clouds. That's what you want to do, okay? Now, if you have your line of watercolor that you just put down and you don't like the edge, clean your brush off, put it in the water, dab it a little bit so it's a little bit wet, get just a little bit wet, and then run your brush along the edge. And what that'll do is it'll soften it up. It'll soften up that edge and let it diffuse into the other water. And so it disappears. And it makes it look like it just is a soft edge and it blends nicely into the other areas next to it. And that's what you want to do. So that's one layer. The reason why I say it's one layer is because it hasn't dried yet and I then don't paint on top of it. If it dries, and I paint on top of it, that's two layers. You get me? So it's still one layer right now. Now, I'm gonna go and get some more of this blue. I'm gonna make the blue more intense in the blue areas, okay? So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna make the blue more intense in the blue areas, like so. Now you got the black and the blue. The generalized black and the generalized blue are gonna fall into the 75% range, okay? Because they're going to be inert. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a different color into the 25% and then a really pop a strong color into the 5%. Now if you want to, go ahead and get yourself some texture going, alright? So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to grab some of this aqua green. You can see it right here. I got it over here, grab some of this aqua green already on there. I woke it back up. Now I'm just going to go ahead and throw it down on my page like this. Like, it ain't no big deal. Like, we don't even care. Look at that, getting it everywhere, making a mess. This is why I like watercolors, because it helps paint along with you. It's like it's your little buddy helping you out. Because it as it dries and moves around, it adds cool things that you never knew were gonna happen. So now check that out. I got the water, I got the nice 20% of the aqua in there, and the 20% of the texture. Okay? Now, what could be a really cool 5%? Well, I don't know. Let's go ahead and take some of this orange. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I'm gonna take some of this orange. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. Good. All right. I'm gonna take some of this orange and just slam it in there. But remember, only 5% work. Okay? So just touch it in there. Here and there. Touch it in there. Okay? Maybe add a little bit of splatter too. Maybe you want some splatter as well. Alright, but don't go more than 5%, or try not to, okay? Now I want to soften up some of these edges and let it kind of wash into the aqua. And I'm just asking myself questions like this. Hey, is this edge too hard? Does this stand out too much? Or I wonder what would happen if I ran a wet brush over this area? Or what would happen if I did this? Or what would happen if I did that? That's the thought process going on in my mind. And then now I'm looking at it and asking myself, does it look done? Could I do more to it? Is it a strong enough appearance? And I'm thinking, it looks great. If I add more, will I break it? Probably. So let's go ahead and leave it there. Now that's one layer of wet on wet with a whole bunch of splatter thrown in for fun. Okay, and that's it. That's all we did. Now we let it dry. You can let it dry all the way before you pull the tape off, but I already know the edges are dry, so I'm going to pull the tape off. Now when you pull the tape off, just pull it at a 90-degree angle away from the rest of the tape. Now look how easy that comes off. Look how easy that comes off. You know what I mean? No tearing, no nothing. Nice and easy. It keeps that edge nice and crisp. Now I know some of y'all might have had bleed. That might just be the type of masking tape you had. Some masking tape bleeds. That's why, one of the reasons why I use this blue painter's tape is because it does not bleed under the tape edge. It keeps the tape edge nice and crisp. And check that out. We just made ourselves a nice little abstract painting piece, little masterpiece right there on the page next to the other ones. I mean, hell, if you went and hung that in the gallery, you wouldn't even know. You'd think, oh yeah, that belongs here. That's a nice abstract color scheme with a nice texture that engages the eye. It has a nice value control, and you're excited about it. You know what I mean? You're excited about it. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another sip of Marge real quick. Oh yeah, I got this right here. The straw is so I don't drink my watercolor water, people. I've done that way too many times. So I always look for the straw to drink. So I never do that with the watercolor. It tastes terrible. I also keep the straw in it so I know, hey, don't put your brush in there. I've done that, more times than I can count. And it tastes terrible. It tastes terrible. So people say, oh hey, Ray's over there drinking with the straw. What's that all about? Well, it's because I don't like to drink the nasty water, bro. Come on now. All right. So we got that all laid out. I'm going to try and do a Discord live and do a little bit more of a demonstration. If you want to come on over and watch it. I'll probably end up posting it on YouTube as well after it's done, so you can watch it there as well. But hey, get out there and get yourself some wash going. Wet on wet. Remember, 75%, 20%, 5%. Okay? And have fun with it. All right? Have fun with it, people. Let's go. Let's get out there. Let's fly.